What's up, guys? Amanda Nybert, registered dietitian. Happy Friday. I wanted to jump on and talk about a typical question I get from my lean clients, and that is, how do you manage your weekends? Over and over, I see people really dial it in Monday through Thursday, Sunday through Thursday, and then really find themselves kind of falling apart on the weekends. And I think it's important to note, number one, your weekends make up 25% of your week. So they kind of matter. When we look at it in the scale of your month, let's say there's 28 days, your weekend almost makes up 30% of your month. So being aware of how to tackle your weekends can make the difference between progress or maintenance. I really see that people putting in the effort during the week and kind of falling apart on the weekends are the ones that don't move forward. They're doing just enough for maintenance, but they're not doing enough to continue to see progress. So a couple of things I feel like happen on the weekends. Number one, we don't have a schedule. Our schedule is much more erratic on the weekends. We're typically not waking up at the same time. We're not doing the same thing throughout the day. And that throws us off. Number two, the weekends are typically more social. We have social gatherings, we go out to dinner, we have events, potentially more alcohol involved, more discretionary foods involved. And what did I say? Number three, we just want to relax. We've had a hard week. We really see kind of Saturday and Sunday as the time where we don't want to be putting all the effort into kind of everything we do. So here are a couple of tips that I suggest for my clients in order to navigate the weekend so that you can still move forward. And it basically comes down to two things: plan ahead and be consistent. And it's kind of the same things that we do on Sunday to get ready to crush the week to come. We have to do the same thing to go into our weekend. So when we talk about planning ahead, I think it's a good idea Thursday or Friday to kind of consider, what do I have this weekend? What events do I have? When am I eating out? What sporting events? Am I traveling? To kind of think about, how am I going to manage, the events that I have this weekend and still be consistent, because that's really key. So if you know that you're going out on Friday night, or you're going out on Saturday night, then you can plan ahead. At the beginning of the day, you can make better choices in order to set yourself up to have more flexibility in the evening, all right? And I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. And then the other thing is, again, just that consistency. Healthy is a lifestyle. Weight loss, living healthy, feeling your best, being vibrant is not about something you do for 7 weeks and then stop. It's the things that you commit to doing, consistency for life. So things that I find important to me throughout the week, I try to make them as important for me in the weekends. For example, good hydration. I find it's very easy to consume my 60 to 80 ounces of electrolyte water Monday through Friday, but Saturday and Sunday, it's a little bit harder, again, because of that lack of schedule. So trying to be consistent with maintaining my hydration, it's going to help my hunger. It's going to help my cravings. It's going to help my bowel movements. It's, again, it has a very trickle down effect. So the minute you stop being well hydrated, it creates all these problems that can be harder to deal with. So other things that I want to be consistent with, physical activity is a consistent part of my lifestyle. So I try to still be physically active on the weekends, trying to get 1 or 2 workouts in, trying to still get my steps in. Whole food nutrition, mainly optimizing my protein, is a huge priority Monday through Friday. So I want to bring that over into Saturday and Sunday. And that kind of leads me to one of my biggest tips about, going out and having a night out and going to a celebration or a party or whatever. The way that I will structure my day is I plan for it. If I know, let's say it's Cinco de Mayo, I'm going out for chips and salsa and margaritas and fajitas and tacos that evening. Well, I'm going to focus, number one, on optimizing my protein. My protein goal is about 30 to 40 grams 3 times a day. So instead of nibbling very lightly throughout the day and kind of saving as much as I can for the evening, I'm going to get 30 to 40 grams of protein in my first meal. I'm going to try to bank as many carbs and fats and calories, that's what that results in, for my evening meal. But if you guys have been around here for a long time, you know you can't bank protein. So it's the one macronutrient that you've got to space out. So I'm going to go ahead and do a really low carb, low fat, high protein lunch. I'm going to do, a low carb, low fat, high protein snack. Maybe that'll be just drinking a protein shake in the afternoon. And then with that being said, let's say I eat 2,000 calories a day. If lunch is only 400 or 500 calories, that leaves me with 1,500 calories at night. It leaves me with tons of carbs. It leaves me with tons of calories to work with. And I still have that last bit of protein to get in, but it's a manageable portion. So that's a really good strategy to implement if you have a night out. If you're going to be, eating a meal that is going to be 1,000 calories, 1,200 calories. Optimize your protein throughout the day and really kind of bank those other macronutrients to give you those extra calories for the evening. You may have a lunch, a brunch that you're going to go to. Okay, blow your wad, have fun at brunch, and then have the plan to come back and do, again, high protein, kind of low carb, low fat, low calorie meals to kind of finish out the day. It's always important to remember 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. 1 gram of carb has 4 calories. So anytime that you're trying to save calories, carbs, and fats for a meal, watch your fat intake, okay? Because a lot of times when we say, I'm going to do a high protein, low carb meal, sometimes that translates into a high fat meal. And that's going to gobble up a bunch of your calories. So thinking of it as low carb, low fat, high protein, again, gives you that reserves to kind of work with. So focusing on whole food nutrition, when you do go out to eat, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a good source of protein. I'm looking for tons of veggies. And then everything else is kind of like small portions of discretionary food to my liking, whatever that may be. So I think the biggest takeaway from recognizing, you can't eat like an asshole all weekend and think you're going to move forward. You're not. You're probably going to maintain. And for some people, you may fall backwards. And recognizing that even implementing kind of this 80-20 rule through your weekend is a good idea. Allow yourself 2 discretionary meals, but make the rest of them count. Optimize your protein. Stay well hydrated. Those 2 things manages your hunger, manages your cravings, and manages how much that you can eat. But at the end of the day, 1 meal, even 1 day, maybe even 2 days every once in a while, does not make or break your success. It's how you respond to that 1 meal, that 1 day, or that 1 weekend. And I talked a lot about this in my TED Talk, which was all about the all or nothing thinking. And I feel like that's where everyone struggles, is they go out Friday night, you have the time of your life, you absolutely overeat, overdrink, and because of that, it turns into bad choices Saturday and Sunday because you think you've already blown it. And in reality, that 1 meal did nothing. It's what you chose to do after that meal. So your ability to, number 1, drop the might as well thinking, okay? The next time you end a meal and you find yourself saying might as well, I want you to think of me, okay? And remember this tip. Drop the might as well thinking. And number 2, recognizing having the ability to reset immediately, whether that be, lunch after breakfast, whether that be snack after lunch, whether that be, breakfast after dinner. But your ability to say, you know what, I'm not going to let that 1 meal define the rest of my weekend, the rest of my day, the rest of my week, is ultimately what brings you to consistency. And again, at the end of the day, it is about progress, not perfection, but it is most importantly about consistency. So look at the habits that matter the most to your health and aim to be consistent with that. Let me know what questions you have. I'm going to put this on my page. Please use the share button. Share it to your stories. I think a lot of people are unsure how to manage their weekends. And at the end of the day, it's just about planning and consistency. And you can still have all the fun and reap all the benefits.